Hello and welcome. I'm Eleanor Beaton, and in this video, you are going to learn everything that you need to know about what the Jewel Business Accelerator is, how it can help you sustainably scale your company using the Jewel business model, and I'll also share details about the program, the investment, how it works, everything that you need to know in order to make a powerful decision about whether to submit an application to join us for this program. So let's dive in. All right, how to sustainably scale to 7 figures in the Jewel Business Accelerator. I'm Eleanor Beaton, and what you need to know about me is that I am obsessed with helping women entrepreneurs scale their revenues sustainably from around 6 figures to 7 figures in a way that gives you more than enough profit, time, and most important of all, mental white space. So let's talk about some of the scenarios or challenges you may be facing that brought you to the place where you're watching this video. So you could be feeling quite overworked. You're booked solid with client work that you deliver. Every project is customized and boutique. You may have a jam-packed schedule. You could be stuck at around sort of low 6 figures. You're at this level, you want to scale, but you may be experiencing fears that growing your business will make your life miserable. There's certainly a lot of examples of this out in the marketplace. That's not what you want for yourself. And what you crave is time for the people and the activities that you value most. You could potentially be feeling undersupported, meaning that you're stretched thin and doing all of the things yourself. You may not have the right team in place to support your growth. You may not have systems or processes or the right systems and processes to help you scale up. You could be feeling under a lot of pressure, and you may find that you give so much of yourself that you feel emotionally haggard. And that term is a term that I coined for myself, but you may resonate with that term. You could be in a stage where you're facing inconsistencies. So you're making income, you're making money, but that monthly income isn't consistent yet. You may lack an effective marketing system beyond word of mouth. Your approach to selling could feel a little haphazard and random. And because of that, you could be stuck in scarcity. But in order to sell, you feel like you need to put on a brave face. And so this can feel inconsistent and is not really an empowered position from which to grow your company. And you could also be in a state of being in between. So maybe you've tried creating group programs or some form of scalable offer. You've tried scaling up your team in the past, but you struggle to fill your programs. You could have a group program, but you're stuck on the launch roller coaster. You may have elements of a scalable business, but you don't have the connective tissue that really makes you feel like you've got something solid where the parts of your business are working together. You could be hitting an income plateau and you really don't have a plan to surpass it. And you could feel just a tad lost. You're not sure where to go for support. The goal that you most likely have is to grow your company in a sustainable way. And recently I was connecting with a woman entrepreneur and she shared this goal, which I loved. And I thought I could see myself and at an earlier stage of business and so many of the women that we work with in her quote. She said, I asked her, if I could wave my magic wand 3 years from now, where are you? And she says, I'd have reached my goal of $1 million in revenue. I'd have a full team that supports my activities, so I wouldn't feel frustrated with doing work that's not in my zone of genius. I'd spend time doing the work that I love most, and I'd have quality time with family and travel for fun. I'd feel fulfilled at work, joyful, excited, motivated, and loving life. I just thought that's a powerful vision for, I think, the bigger goal for so many of us. So let's talk about how you can make this transformation. you're probably wondering how the heck you are going to scale from 6 to 7 figures without working insane hours or sacrificing either your relationships or your well-being. So let's take a look at it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can scale your company from 6 to 7 figures using the Jewel business model. I want to share a couple of real people, real results. So this is Alexander Davidson, managing partner of a firm called Davidson London in UK, who increased their revenues by $853,000 within a year of working with us. Pretty impressive. This is June Tavener of Catalyst Health Solutions in Newfoundland and Labrador. Within 18 months of working with Eleanor and her team, our revenues grew 10x to 1.5 million. So great examples of how folks have used the methodology we teach inside the Jewel Business Accelerator to sustainably scale their companies. So let's talk about how you can make this transformation. So the Jewel Business Accelerator comprises 3 connected, essential parts. The first is Jewel infrastructure. The second is inner ecology. And the third is entrepreneurship as a practice. We're going to start by uncovering what Jewel infrastructure is and why it's so critical to helping you scale your business Jewel business style. So the Jewel infrastructure is the what, okay? Infrastructure sets you free. When you have your Jewel infrastructure in place, it allows you to dramatically reduce your time in service delivery so you can focus on your zone of genius. It allows you to grow revenue, impact, and client retention while maximizing lifetime customer value. It allows you to eliminate scarcity periods by building sustainable, long-term lead generation infrastructure. It allows you to create rock-solid systems so that parts of your company can be run by others. And this is critical if you want to build a team. And it allows you to build a simple, well-run company that dream team members want to work for. Game recognizes game, right? Great employees want to work at well-run companies. And so when you create the foundation, they will find you. So let's look at what Jewel infrastructure actually is. So inside the Jewel Business Accelerator, we focus on 5 core parts of your infrastructure. And when you have these pieces in place, it allows you, this is what sets you free and allows you to hit those revenue targets. It allows you to enjoy that open time and it allows you to do deep, meaningful work in a couple of core areas. So the first are scalable offers that pull the market. So these are powerful offers, okay? The second is a selling system that produces predictable revenue. The third is a scalable lead generation system. So you always have a really good pipeline in place. The fourth part is a lean dream team that 10x's your efforts and vision. And finally, strong cash reserves to fuel wealth and growth. So inside the Jewel Business Accelerator, we will work with you to implement each of these parts, and we'll decide when we start working together, we'll have a really good strategy session to decide which one of these things are we going to work with you to build first, right? So it's very customized to you and your needs at the time. But what I'm going to do is really kind of take one of those pieces, which is scalable offers that pull the market, and I'm going to break it down so that you can really understand. So when you scale your business, Jewel business style, in order to have a business that scales sustainably, so you don't have this big roller coaster effect, but you're able to experience steady, sustainable growth, what you want are 3 different types of offers. And so I think about rabbits, deer, and elephants. Okay, so small game. We call small game the high touch 5-figure offer. Okay, what is this? It's an offer that you might charge anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 or more. And typically this is a one-to-one offer that you can sell easily that brings in cash. Okay, Think about your one-on-one coaching, your consulting, your sessions with your clients. This will often equate to a revenue stream in your business that's anywhere from 100 to 300K. Okay, so that's called your high touch 5-figure offer. It's small game because you're sort of working with one client at a time. Medium game, that's the deer. All right, and we call this the 6-figure scalable offer. And a 6-figure scalable offer is an offer that you create that's anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 in annual cost, but you can serve multiple people at a time. Now, the 6-figure scalable offer is either group offering or it's when you really systematize. I'm thinking about folks who are like architects or lawyers or psychologists. These are folks who maybe you don't have a group offering where you're serving multiple people at once, but you are systematizing what you do such that you are able to serve multiple people at once through hiring team. Okay, so that's called a 6-figure scalable offer. And this is a one-to-many offer that allows you to leverage time and effort. And it's typically priced at anywhere between like $3,000 and $15,000 a pop. What this means is this is anywhere from a 100K to a 500K plus revenue stream in your business. And then we have the big game. And these are premium 7-figure scalable offers. So this offer can be priced at anywhere from 25K. It could be a really high-end coaching program to 300K. And a lot of our clients are taking their coaching programs and they're selling them in bulk into organizations as an example. And so this is a one-to-many offer that really allows you to build wealth and freedom. And this can become anywhere from a $300,000 to a $1 million plus revenue stream in your business. So when we help you start to really set up your offers, what we want is that small game and medium game, your high touch 5-figure offer, your 6-figure scalable offer. This pays your expenses, your salary, and helps you build your cash reserve. But the big game, that's what puts profit in your pocket. This is where you really, really start to build real wealth. Okay. So that's what we are going to help you put into place. It's really making sure that your business model is solid and that you have amazing offers in place that work together to generate revenue and profit for you and cut down on your time and service delivery. So I want to show you how this looks like in practice. So when you come into the Jewel Business Accelerator and work with us, how does it work to start putting together small game, medium game, big game, the rabbits, the deer, and the elephants? Well, this is an example of one of our clients, Teresa Vaza. She's an executive coach for women leaders. So let's just kind of look at her pathway, what her pathway looked like through this 12-month process. So she actually was had a CHR role in a large successful global company. And she began her one-on-one coaching as a side hustle. And she was doing great work, loved the work, but it felt unscalable and unfocused. And that's when she came to us. So she started the first trimester, the first 4 months in the Jewel Business Accelerator, she launched her high touch 5-figure offer. And what she did here was really solidify her one-on-one coaching. She raised the price, she focused that one-on-one coaching offer. And that's key because that starts to create predictable cash. Okay, milestone number 1, amazing. Months 4 through 9 in the Jewel Business Accelerator, she launches her 6-figure scalable offer, the Crucible. And then she ends up selling multiple cohorts into this 6-month program. So now she has small game, she's got the rabbits, which is her high touch 5-figure offer coaching. Now she puts into place her 6-figure scalable offer, and that's a group offering. So now she's able to get leverage. And then through months 9 through 12 in the Jewel Business Accelerator, she launches her premium 7-figure scalable offer. And what she did is take her IP that she develops in the Crucible about really developing women leaders, and she starts to take that and sell it as big ticket programs into B2B enterprise. So selling that, she was selling sort of one-to-one in the Crucible. Now she takes that IP and is able to sell that into the corporate market. Okay. So that was how one entrepreneur used our programming to really provide great structure to put the right business model in place that allows the structure to scale. Okay. So let's take a look in depth. So I want to show you how someone like Teresa can use what she learned in the Jewel Business Accelerator to sustainably scale to 7 figures, because you want to see the math. So the top here, you're going to see Teresa's Jewel infrastructure offers that pull the market. Okay. So she launches her high touch 5-figure offer by raising the price and focusing it. So the revenue potential of your high touch 5-figure offer is going to be anywhere from like 80,000 to 100,000. Okay. So that provides a really great base of revenue in your company to grow from. So it's really important that we have this in place. The second, remember, she goes on to launch her 6-figure scalable offer. So this is a group offering. And she launches that program. It's a 6-month program and multiple cohorts of fantastic women leaders go through it. This has a revenue potential of anywhere from $300,000 to $750K plus. Okay, so you can see this is a more substantial revenue stream. Our vision with a Jewel business model is that those two offers, the high touch 5-figure offer and the 6-figure scalable offer, that pays for the entrepreneur, your company's expenses, it pays your salary, and it pays your cash reserve. Okay. But we move into the premium 7-figure scalable offer, where she starts taking this amazing IP that she's developed, intellectual property, and selling it into organizations. For some folks, they don't do that. They just have a much higher ticket program or higher ticket service that's delivered by team. That becomes a $300K to a $1 million plus revenue model. Okay. Or revenue potential. So this is how, when you add up the math, you can see that it is this connection, right? Having these 3, the rabbits, the deer, and the elephants, the small game, the medium game, the big game, the high touch 5-figure offer, the 6-figure scalable offer, the premium 7-figure scalable offer. When you put these together, this is how you sustainably scale from 6 to 7 figures. This is the path. Okay. So that's the power of focusing on your Jewel infrastructure. Okay. When we help you put these pieces into place, now you have a structure that sets you free, that's going to pay you and keep paying you for years to come. Now, the cons of focusing only on the Jewel infrastructure. So there's a lot of programs that focus only on that. And there are some cons which we see. The first is that if you only focus on infrastructure, your business starts to lack soul. It becomes all about the doing and the building and the strategy, not about the soul. And it's really important to create a business that has meaning for you, that you focus on the soul of the business. Number 2, you approach your company like it's a machine versus a living, breathing organism. You start to overly identify with traditionally masculine leadership traits of building and doing. And P.S., these are important, but it's the over-identification with those that can be really challenging and can create a lot of burnout in women entrepreneurs. And yeah, you start to burn out. So we just took one of these pieces, scalable offers that pull the market. But I think you can see the purpose in me really breaking down one of these parts is to show you the detail, the thoughtfulness, and the structure with which we break down each of these parts. And so there are 5 different pieces of infrastructure that we work with you to implement. And we assess your business at the beginning, and then we identify where do we need to focus first. Okay, so that's how that works. And I can't wait. This is one of my favorite parts, really starting to identify where we're going to really create the biggest gains for you by being very strategic about where we focus initially with your business. Okay, so we've covered Jewel infrastructure, which is a critical part of the Jewel Business Accelerator 12-month coaching program. The second part is inner ecology, the inner ecology. And this is absolutely critical. So the inner ecology, this is the who. And inner ecology makes you a woman capable of having a 7-figure jewel business. When this happens, you stop self-sabotaging or slowing down your growth due to fear and uncertainty. You really begin to trust yourself and your vision enough to take the courageous action required to help you grow a 7-figure business. And you become a leader capable of disrupting your industry if and when you choose. So when we think about inner ecology, we have identified a couple of core parts, okay? So one is the capacity to have power. You cannot talk about women and women making money, women being visible, women employing teams of people, women inviting people to come and back your vision and join your vision and bring it about with you side by side without talking about power. And your relationship with your power will be played out in your business, okay? So the capacity to have power is a critical part of the inner ecology. The two dimensions of feminine power is another key piece. So what I mean by that is that there's sort of a couple of dimensions. One dimension of feminine power is nurturing, kindness, empathetic. And these are critical parts, I think, of what so many of us are lean into as leaders. But there is another part of feminine power that is required, and that is the ability to cultivate a little bit of Joan of Arc energy, meaning that ability to make a tough call, that ability to be ruthless in your protection of your values and your vision, right? So there's this other edge that is very important for you. And for instance, without the ability to understand this type of power, it becomes very difficult for you to actually enforce 7-figure boundaries. Okay. So as you start to grow your business, you are going to start to change, and how you structure your time will start to change, and your relationships will begin to elevate. You shift. It's one of the most powerful things of growing a 7-figure business. And so your boundaries need to change too, right? Practicing boldness. Oh my gosh. I think a big myth is that as you continue running, as your business keeps growing, you just get more and more, it just gets easier and easier. And you always know exactly what to do. You become a person capable of doing hard better. Like things that used to stress you out will not stress you out. That's what actually happens, right? It's not because you take your foot off the gas unless you want to. It's because you increase your capacity. And so then it becomes about continuing to lean into that growth edge so that you can continue evolving along with your company. And the final piece is really being in relationship with the soul of your business, really understanding like your business is a creative entity, right? It's not just a machine, it's a creative entity. And it's not just you, right? So growing it becomes about separating your relationship from your business, seeing your business as a creative entity and understanding it and doing everything that you can to help it fulfill its destiny. Okay. So that's inner ecology. And you can see, if we only focused on the infrastructure, but never focused on this, you would not create a business that has deep meaning to you. So I want to share with you what happens when you lack the inner ecology. Okay. And I'm going to share the experience of someone who actually knows what it's like to scale over 7 figures and the pieces of inner ecology that you need. So this is me around 2016. So in 2016, first box here, I have my high touch 5-figure offer. I have a 6-figure scalable offer. I'm generating about $250K a year with this model, and I'm preparing for a projected $600,000 a year. So this is a huge milestone in our business. I develop a predictable event-based selling system. You'll notice that's another part of our Jewel infrastructure. It's a key piece of the business that allows me to do predictable selling. Amazing. High. Then I do an event that's too successful. Okay. And what I mean by that is I surprise myself with how well things are working. I'm not used to this. Okay. I'm used to things being hard. I'm used to things not working as well as I want to. All of a sudden, things are working really well. And what I uncover later is I didn't actually have the capacity to hold that power. I didn't have the capacity to hold all those people looking to me for solutions, for insight, right? So what happens is I lose my voice at the event. Like on day one of a 3-day event that folks have paid good money for, have flown in for, I totally lose my voice. It's a disaster. I'm humiliated and I hide. There's more to the story, but it was a big deal. So that was really bad. That's a low. Then I end up recovering. I'm able to fill my programs. We're at capacity, super high, amazing. But then I have all of these people, right? Your business grows. There are more people in your world, and I don't have 7-figure boundaries. I lack the boundary setting ability to navigate group dynamics in a high ticket program. I allow some negative personalities to kind of sabotage the group. They were doing the best they can, but it was my job to set the tone for the group. I didn't have that ability. I didn't have that Kali energy. That's that dark side of, the other side of feminine power, to be able to give my team members tough feedback in order to have them support me better, right? So I just didn't have the capacity and that inner ecology to be able to hold the business I was creating. And this is a huge issue that we don't talk about enough. And so I started to feel defeated. I started to lose confidence in myself and I stopped selling, right? So this is an example of how this can really happen in your business and it's not what you want, okay? So that's the inner ecology. That's a reminder of the inner ecology. Inner ecology gives you the internal infrastructure you need to scale sustainably. So this is what we want. We want to see you grow. And these orange parts, these upward trajectory, this is because you are building infrastructure. So that's where you're going to see jewel infrastructure. These horizontal parts, like the blue, where there's the blue dot here, you can see that's horizontal. And that's where you are stabilizing, you are integrating. You've just experienced a period of growth and now your business needs to integrate. And this is where we really focus on inner ecology, right? Because when you have both the infrastructure that helps you grow, it helps you take a leap. Now you have the inner ecology, which helps you develop that leadership capacity to hold it. That's what allows for sustainable scaling. Okay. And that's why inner ecology is absolutely critical. Now, the cons of focusing on inner ecology only is that you end up having great leadership skills, but you have nothing to actually lead. You get overly inwardly focused and you start to miss out on opportunities. Or you get trapped trading dollars for hours because you actually haven't built scalable infrastructure, assets, and systems. So you're evolved as a person, but your evolution has completely outpaced your company's evolution. So there's a big mismatch, right? That's not what we want. Your business is a partner with you, right? The two of you get to work together to create something beautiful. And it's just like in a marriage, you want a relationship of equals, right? So that's inner ecology. Okay, so we've covered jewel infrastructure, we've covered inner ecology, and let's go into the third part of what's included in the Jewel Business Accelerator, which is entrepreneurship as a practice. Okay, entrepreneurship as a practice. This is the how. So we've talked in jewel infrastructure. This is about the what, right? What the core pieces of infrastructure that your business needs to scale sustainably. In inner ecology, that's the who. That is the inner infrastructure you need in order to be a woman capable of having a high growth company. And entrepreneurship as a practice is how you do it, right? That's how you get things done. And this is where the rubber hits the road. It is a core part of the difference between somebody who has a lot of dreams and hopes about where your business can go and somebody who's going to actually be able to bring it to life. So entrepreneurship as a practice, we call that JFDI. You could say just freaking do it if that's your language of choice, but there are alternatives. Okay. So this is where you implement, when you have entrepreneurship as a practice in place, and this is a really unique part of our program. So number one, you implement. You hit your targets consistently. You make meaningful progress on your most important initiatives. Okay. You build a results-oriented, sustainable company with soul. You have external and internal accountability to accomplish an extraordinary amount without burning out. And you have access to consistent thought partnership, guidance, and authentic, honest, no holds barred support. So entrepreneurship as a practice, what does that include? So when you come into our program, you are going to get consistent one-on-one coaching, which is personalized support as you implement your growth plan. We believe in the power of one-on-one coaching. And so you will get consistent one-on-one coaching every 3 weeks, a full one-on-one coaching session to really help you implement. Number 2, you have strategic one-on-one insight calls with me, which allow you to think bigger, bolder, and better with my thought partnership. Okay, so you have one-on-one coaching. You also have insights calls with me. You have your roadmap to 7 figures. So I told you when we were talking about Jewel infrastructure that one of the first things that we do is sit down with you, evaluate where you are, and help you identify what piece of infrastructure you need to focus on first that's going to create the biggest, impact for you. The reality is we do this 3 times throughout the course of your year with us. Okay, so we are consistently sitting back, evaluating, checking out where you are, and then really putting together a plan, a plan that's like a 4-month plan, right? So we work 4 months at a time, which takes me to trimester cadence. So entrepreneurs need to be able to focus on long-term growth, but you have to be able to make sure that you're bringing a sense of urgency to your work, that you're producing results in the short term, okay? Because you have to cash flow your growth, right? So that's the trimester cadence where we know that in order to consistently get results, you need to have a cadence of working that allows you time to set the vision, time to make effective plans, time to implement, and then time to reflect. And so that is all embedded in a trimester cadence. So we have 3 trimesters, 3 4-month trimesters, and each trimester is broken into some visioning and planning in the beginning, implementation with a ton of support and accountability, and reflection to really take stock of where you are, regroup, and go for another trimester. Okay, so it's a very, very powerful combination. When you attempt to grow without entrepreneurship as a practice, our approach, what we see is you will implement more slowly. You'll run into obstacles that delay your progress unnecessarily, sometimes for months. You can get good at following a system. I'm sure you've seen this 1, 2, 3 step approach, but the problem with that is you develop confidence in other people's approaches and authorities, but you don't develop deep confidence in your skills as an entrepreneur. You have superficial business friends, but you may lack the deep, purposeful relationships with fellow women founders that you absolutely need. And your implementation is inconsistent. So you might have fits of mega activity followed by months of recovery from burnout. So when we have really worked to develop this entrepreneurship as a practice approach that's anchored in thousands of data points that we've collected about women entrepreneurs, best practices in how entrepreneurship is taught and done to create a really powerful approach that creates a container where you take consistent action, okay? And you're not in it alone. Now, each of these strategies, think about it. Entrepreneurship as a practice is like the performance, right? This is how you get it done, how you implement. Inner ecology is the deep inner mindset work, which is so rewarding and juicy. And Jewel infrastructure, this is the hardcore infrastructure. This is the strategy. Each piece on its own is powerful, but when you combine them, you are unstoppable. And that's how these 3 things combine to create a 7-figure Jewel business. And you might be like, wow, I'm a seasoned corporate executive. Like the example you cited, I am, selling right now. I feel really far away from a 7-figure Jewel business. And that's totally okay because I'm going to walk you through what to do there. Okay. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to share there's one more thing you have to have that really anchors these three pieces, and that is strong messaging and positioning. And this is one of the things we're really known for in the marketplace. So when you as an entrepreneur have a clear message, a clear market position and magnetic message, it's clear what you do and for whom. Okay, this absolutely must happen. You have to have this in place, and we will be doing a lot of work with you to make sure these are tight, clear, and that you love them. It's not an afterthought. If you don't have clear messaging and positioning, you cannot stand out or scale. And if you aren't super confident and super clear in your message and market position, you will always struggle with sales. Okay, so this is a core component. We will work with you to make sure this is in place. And this is a real zone of genius for us. And the thing is, all of the marketing strategies in the world won't help you if you aren't super confident. So if you are missing any one of these pieces, the inner ecology, the jewel infrastructure, entrepreneurship as a practice, or core messaging and positioning, it's very difficult to scale. You really need to have all of these pieces. It's kind of like a stool with only two legs, okay? If you have only one of these parts, or even only two of these parts, your business can fail, and they do all the time, right? And for you, failing might not mean bankruptcy, but it just means that you start to fizzle out because you get exhausted, and you deserve so much more than that, So the other thing is, when you don't have these places, you're vulnerable, right? You're unprotected. You don't have that stability that you need to really grow and scale. And one thing I know about working with women entrepreneurs is that we take bold action to grow when we feel safe. So the safety comes from the structure. Okay. So let's talk about when our clients come to us. So our clients often come to us when they are feeling, they're feeling the limitations. So they may have revenue plateaus that go on for months or years. And this is typically when you've got high demand for your customized one-on-one work, but there's nowhere to grow. You just don't have the infrastructure in place to scale beyond that. We often see people coming to us because they're sort of trapped in what we would call a launch roller coaster. So maybe you have programs, but you're launching, you have big peaks of revenue and then big valleys too. And it's very hard on a business. Okay. And so that's another place where you're coming to us to create a dual business model so you can sustainably scale. And another thing that we see is that you're stuck in the trap of low margins, and you can't hire as you need to. Okay. So yes, you're making money, but your expenses are high and there's just not a lot of profit left over. Okay. And we're in business to generate profit. Profit sets you free. Okay. So we've shown what you kind of don't want. This is what you do want. All right. This is what sustainable scaling looks like. It's periods of growth, okay, followed by integration and stabilization. Another period of growth followed by integration and stabilization. And you can see often we're looking at doing this. The reason that what we find is that it usually takes between 1 and 2 quarters to really implement a good solid piece of infrastructure and stabilize it, okay? So you can see in this example, the person comes in, we've really worked with them on their high touch 5-figure offer, the dual infrastructure that boom, helps them grow. Now we have to put some strong boundaries in place because it used to be all things to all people. Now you're going to set some boundaries effectively in a way that makes people feel good. That's your 7-figure boundary setting. That's the inner ecology. Okay. Then you go in and you're like, okay, now I need to really address my marketing. So I'm going to go in and put in right here my predictable lead generation system. Boom. You start to see growth. Well, now you're out there a lot, and now you've got to work on your boldness muscle. Okay. Then all of that is working well. You're getting good solid leads. So now we say, great, let's implement your 6-figure scalable offer. Growth. Now, all of a sudden, there's a lot of people in your ecosystem and you need to get comfortable with having power. You do that. And now you say, great, I'm going to turn on the taps even more by putting in a scalable selling system. You take another leap, but now you've created a machine and you really need to rediscover who is this business, right? And then through it all, it's entrepreneurship as a practice. So entrepreneurship as a practice, that performance, that's the part, that high performance, I should say, That's the part where we're working with you to really create those consistent results. Okay, so this is really an image of what it looks like. So we've shared the components of the program. So now you're really clear the core components that are included in our curriculum. Now I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, here's the secret. It's about launching one core piece of Joule infrastructure, one bold trimester at a time. So we work in trimesters, okay? In 12 months, there are 3 trimesters. We are going to implement bold infrastructure, one piece at a time. So let me give you a case study. Rebecca is 47. She's a certified leadership coach. She works with well-funded NGOs. Just need to take a drink. All right. She's a one-woman show. She has a part-time virtual assistant. When she joins the Joule Business Accelerator, she's generating around $200,000 a year with primarily one-on-one work. She's been around this revenue mark for 3 years, and she's not sure how she's going to grow beyond it. Her goal is, look, I would love, 4 years from now, I would love to be doing $1 million in revenue while enjoying my life. Okay, so let's focus on how her year would look. So you can see we've got 3 4-month trimesters here, okay? So trimester 1, the first thing we focus on is bringing focus to her one-on-one coaching work. So she's not doing all the things. We're really focusing that offer and turning it into a high-touch 5-figure offer. So this high-touch 5-figure offer, it's a $4,000 offer, and she's able to generate 4 sales a month. So that allows her to generate about $16,000 per month. So what we do is we optimize and systematize her high-touch 5-figure offer, and we launch a very simple selling system to allow her to hit her predictable monthly target. So her first trimester is all about systematizing the small game. And this allows predictable revenue. Now she's got this base going. She feels good. It's under control. She knows what she's going to be making every month. She can, control her costs. So the result here is about $64,000 in sales. And she's launched her high touch 5-figure offer. She's launched her selling system, and she's generating consistently 4 sales per month. Boom. Now we go into trimester number 2. We reflect with her what worked, what didn't work. We identify that the next thing she needs to create is her scalable offer. So she's continuing the $16K per month sales in her high touch 5-figure offer. Okay. So she is continuing with that. Now she's going to create and launch her 6-figure scalable offer. So she's creating and launching it in month 1, month 2, month 3, and in month 4, that's where she starts selling it. Okay. So it means that she has, and I need my calculator because I forgot. I can't find that. I'm going to do some mental math here. Okay. So basically, $15,000, right? So, sorry, I was just doing some mental math. So basically she launches her SFSO. So remember, in her second trimester, those first 3 months, she's still selling her one-on-one high-touch 5-figure offer. It's awesome, but she's preparing, she's building the infrastructure. In month 4 of her second trimester, which is her 8th month on the program with us, she launches her 6-figure scalable offer. It's a $15,000 offer, and she sells 8 units. So that means her trimester revenue for her second trimester is $184,000. So then we go into trimester 3, okay? And now she realizes, look, if I'm going to grow I'm happy. I have my high touch 5-figure offer. I've created my 6-figure scalable offer, and it's working. Now I need to create a selling system that's a lot more scalable. So she creates and launches her selling system. So what happens here is that she starts to reduce the number of high-touch 5-figure offers that she's selling because she's making more money now from scalable offers, so she can cut down on the amount of one-on-one work that she's doing. So she takes 1 fewer client. So now she's only doing 3 of these sales a month. And then she works on her selling system. She implements her selling system. And by month 4, she does another launch of her 6-figure scalable offer. And that one gets even more customers. Now that gets 10 customers. And so she's up to 150K. So her trimester revenue for that month was $198,000. So you can see she uses the trimester system to build the Joule infrastructure, which takes her to about $446,000 in annual revenue. This is how it works, okay? It's totally doable when you break your goal down into focused trimester projects, okay? So Rebecca's path, you can see there were years before she joined us, there were years where she was at this revenue plateau. And the first thing we do is launch these scalable offers. Then we help her streamline her system, and that's what stabilizes. Then we help her implement a scalable lead generation system, which is the next surge of growth. And at that point, she's got to hire a team, right? And then she launches her premium 7-figure scalable offer and just continues to scale. So that's what her growth trajectory would look like, okay? So let's talk about case study number 2. Natalie, 55, is a workplace culture consultant, and she and her team of 3 employees deliver bespoke consulting projects to the corporate market. Each deal is worth anywhere from $25,000 to $175,000. She's generating $500,000 per year in sales, but she's exhausted. Her margins are not enough to give her the 7-figure retirement nest egg she wants and deserves, and her revenue has plateaued. So her goal, she's like, look, I got to save for retirement here. This is real. So I'm on a steep growth curve. I want to break 7 figures in 2 years. I want to save $200,000 per year for retirement. I want to enjoy my life. So that's the second case study. So here, what we're going to do is she does consulting, right? So this is trimester 1, same thing. So month 1, trimester 1, we work with her on our strategy. This is where there's a ton of customization where we're working with you to make clear recommendations. It's a thought partnership. You get strategic thought partnership, which is huge, right? It's not just paint by the numbers. It's let's take a look at your business. So we decide, listen, the big opportunity here initially, again, we love to focus on stabilizing. So we're going to raise your consulting prices by 20% so that we can maintain your revenue but cut your workload, okay? So what happens over here is we do that. So she's already got this high touch 5-figure offer in place. Now we're making $40K consistently each month, but we're cutting down her workload. And the core project she does in her first trimester with us is to launch her 6-figure scalable offer. So this is a $10,000 offer, okay? She launches it and she's able to get 10 sales. So at the end of her first trimester, she's up to 260 in sales. She's increased her profit on her high touch 5-figure offer and she's launched her 6-figure scalable offer. Okay. Trimester 2. Great. So you've got these 2 core offers, but she's been growing exclusively through her network. So she needs to generate a predictable lead gen system. So that's the next piece that we focus on. So we continue focusing on that. And in fact, for her, this is so key that we just keep focused on her consulting work for the second trimester, because this is all about building up that infrastructure. Okay. So in her second trimester, her sales actually go down, but she's implemented a system for generating leads. So then in her third trimester, this is where she's going to, sticking with that 40K per month. That's her bread and butter. She loves that. But her focus in this final trimester is to scale her 6-figure scalable offer with her lead generation system. So in the final month of that trimester, she launches it and she generates $110,000 in revenue. So her final trimester is 270K in sales. So she grows her total revenue to $690,000. Remember, she was at a revenue plateau of $500,000 for 3 or 4 years. So what she does is by using this methodology, she increases her revenues by 38% year-over-year growth. Okay, so you can start to see, right, like how this works, how we work with you to start putting these pieces in place. systematically and over time, right? And how when you work this process and you use the power of this infrastructure, you can make tremendous changes in your business that are meaningful. So Natalie's path from 6 to 7 figures, again, revenue plateau at around $500,000. She launches her 6-figure scalable offer, and then she stabilizes by streamlining her systems. She grows again by scaling up her 6-figure scalable offer with a scalable lead generation system. And then she hires more team to help her really stabilize that. And then finally, for her next thing is she's a thought leader, right? Influencing culture. So she launches high touch 5-figure offer keynote speaking, right? As paid for marketing that drives 6-figure scalable sales. Imagine getting paid $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to deliver keynotes that just help you grow an audience who buy your programs. Okay. That's kind of what we're looking at here. So that's an example. So again, this is about launching one core piece of Jewel infrastructure, one bold trimester at a time. I have one more case study for you because it's really important for me to ensure that you know that this methodology can work for folks at different stages of their business. So Carol, 39, is a seasoned business executive who is in the process of quitting her C-suite role. She offers career coaching for C-suite women and has generated $50K in the last year as a side hustle. She's used to working with strategic plans and a strong leadership team. She doesn't feel like a beginner, but she knows she needs infrastructure to grow effectively. So her goal is to set up a proper business foundation and break 200K in her first year. Okay, that's her goal. So again, back, trimester 1, it's all about the consistent, we are putting the rabbits in place here. Okay. So your high touch 5-figure offer. So she launches a $6,000 career coaching package. Okay. She really niches it down. She makes 2 sales per month with a predictable selling system. So we work with her right away. We're like, look, you need a core offer that brings money in the door, builds confidence. And we also need a predictable selling system. So what that means, in her first trimester, she generates $48,000 in sales. She's launched a core offer and she's launched a selling system, which is bringing in 2 sales a month. So doable. But keep in mind, in one trimester, she made what she made in the year before. Trimester 2, okay, great. Now you have a network, but you don't have an audience. And so she really wants to sell coaching programs, right? So she needs an audience. So her second trimester, we focus on increasing the number of high touch 5-figure offers. So she's going to sell 3 a month rather than 2, but we're also launching an audience growth system. So at the end of this trimester, she's up to $72,000 in sales. And then in trimester 3, now she's got her high touch 5-figure offer, which brings in consistent revenue. She now has an audience growth system, which really allows her to reach more people so more people know about her. Now she's like, I'm ready to launch a group offering, a scalable offering. So that's what she does. She continues this $18,000 per month. And in her 4th month, she launches her $3,000 program. She has 10 people step into the program, which generates an additional $30K in revenue. So that means this is a $22,000 year for her. Okay. So it's totally doable when you break your 7-figure goal down into an annual revenue goal. What do you want to make this year? So some of you might be like, I am literally 8 years away from $1 million. Some of you might be like, I want to hit $1 million in 2 years. So we work with you no matter where you are to figure out what's your revenue goal this year and how do we approach it one trimester at a time. Okay. It's totally doable when you break it down, you break it into focus projects, and you create the structure, support, and accountability to implement. Okay. So let's break it down what we do. Number 1, we take that 7-figure revenue goal. And again, some of you might be like, I feel like I'm 25 years away. We might say, okay, honestly, think about this. How many years do you want to give yourself to break $1 million? And so you're going to choose it. And it might be 5 years. It might be 7. It might be 3. And whatever it is. And then we say, okay, great. Given that your goal is to get to $1 million in this time, what feels like a doable step for you over the course of the next 12 months? And we'll work with you to challenge you a little bit, you know what I mean? Or a lot. but also have something that you feel is comfortable with, right? So it can't be too easy or it's boring, and it can't be too hard or it's discouraging. Okay. So that's kind of the first thing. So example, let's say you're generating $150,000 per year right now, and you want to break $1 million in 5 years. So we work with you and decide your 12-month goal is to double your revenue to $300,000. So now we're going to reverse engineer and do the math. So we're going to figure out how are we going to make this happen? So again, consistency, right? So the first thing we do is work with you on your high touch 5-figure offer, the rabbits. We help you do that right away so that you can start generating strong, consistent cash flow to fuel your growth. So for instance, in this example, your high touch 5-figure offer is a $7,500 consulting gig. And you are going to get 3 sales per month. We figure it's a stretch, but it's doable. So this results in $270,000 per year in revenue. Now we work backwards and we say, okay, how much more revenue do you need to hit your annual revenue goal? Okay. And so remember, we decided 300,000 this year. You're going to get 270 from your high touch 5-figure offer. That leaves 30K. So how can you create your scalable offer to generate $30,000? And you know what you do? You generate a $10,000 scalable offer that you sell directly to companies, and you get 3 sales. All you need is 3 sales. Can you see how doable this is? Okay. So you're getting, when you do the math, when you break it down, when you have that thought partnership, this is how you start to scale in a sustainable, doable way. Okay. So the next step is to scale your revenues by doable amounts each year until you hit your $1 million goal using this model: Jewel infrastructure, which sets you free; inner ecology, which allows you to end self-sabotage and become a woman capable of having a 7-figure jewel business; and entrepreneurship as a practice, which allows you that high performance mindset to hit your targets, to make extraordinary progress, to step into a culture of getting things done without burning out. And these things work together to help you create a 7-figure jewel business. Okay. So just breaking it down, what's in the Jewel Business Accelerator? Because my goal is that you can see how we work in this Accelerator program to really help you. So the first, again, is Jewel infrastructure. We help you create your scalable offer system, your predictable lead generation system, and your scalable systems around team, processes, and cash reserves. Okay. So these are the core pieces of this. Inner ecology, where we help you end self-sabotage and become a woman capable of having a 7-figure jewel business. And that's where we're working on your 7-figure boundaries. It's where we help you practice consistent, bold action. It's where we help you get really comfortable with power and visibility. And these things are huge. And then finally, entrepreneurship as a practice. And this is where you hit those targets. You make extraordinary progress, and you step into a culture of transformation where you're surrounded by talented women entrepreneurs who are taking bold action and changing their businesses and lives. And of course, this is consistent one-on-one coaching. It's weekly accountability. It's a strong community of practice where you are working with other women entrepreneurs who are doing this work themselves. They're sharing with you what worked, what didn't work. We're taking that trimester approach. So we break that year down into doable chunks, and we're super focused during those chunks. And we have that time to reflect and reconnect back to your vision. And then finally, just that consistent implementation. And this is where so many entrepreneurs fall down because they overestimate their ability to implement and have accountability without support, right? So we all need it. The key is that you get to customize the combination. So with our help and coaching, you're going to find the right combination of these parts that works best for you and your lifestyle. Okay. So let's recap. You learned, number 1, what the 3 components of sustainably scaling from 6 to 7 figures are: Jewel infrastructure, inner ecology, and entrepreneurship as a practice. You learned that in order to make it all work, you need strong messaging as well, right? Strong messaging and market position. You learned that when you put these things together, you are able to scale sustainably, which is periods of growth followed by periods of integration and stabilization. And it's the infrastructure that creates the growth. It's the inner ecology and the entrepreneurship as a practice and the systems that allow you to be sustainable and integrate that. Number two, you learned how you can go from 6 to 7 figures and how the math starts to break down into very doable goals, right? We are working with you on these goals and we're supporting you every step of the way. We're surrounding you with a culture of accountability and support. You will never be alone through that process, right? If we see that you need some extra support, we're reaching out to you. If we see that you're killing it, we're reaching out to you, right? With like, hey, with connections, with introductions, like we are doing what we can and leveraging the power of our considerable network to help you grow. Number three, you learned that you can design your jewel business to fit your lifestyle and goals as long as you have those key components that we talked about. The thing is, we talked about these 4 key components, like, of course, the 3 parts of jewel infrastructure, of inner ecology, of entrepreneurship as a practice, right? Which is like really personal development, personal leadership development, specific to 7-figure women entrepreneurs or aspiring 7-figure women entrepreneurs. The infrastructure, like how, strategy and infrastructure and systems in your business, and high performance, right? That's what entrepreneurship as a practice is. And all of those things, you've got to have strong messaging and marketing positioning. The problem is that so often people will go out and buy 4 separate programs, and then you have to piece it all together on your own. Or maybe you've already tried that and it doesn't work. The thing is, here's my iceberg. You don't know what you don't know. So when you look at other businesses, what you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg, but most of the work is happening underneath the water, right? So when you can only see the tip of the iceberg, you can't reverse engineer and see the whole picture. And I have done this hundreds of times. I've seen the common mistakes that people make, and I've also seen the beauty that they can create when they take a holistic approach and put all of these components together. I don't want you to miss the tiny details that matter, right? The details in terms of, I might challenge you on your pricing. I might challenge you on your pricing such that you raise your prices, which contributes huge amount of profit. Or I say, wow, you're taking a huge gap from this offer to that offer. Would you consider doing X to really increase your retention rate, right? There's all kinds of little nuances. I don't want you to miss out on something critical that could have a huge impact on your sales, your conversions, or the growth of your jewel business. So I'd like to invite you to join us inside the Jewel Business Accelerator. That's what we created here. You can see some of our tools, some of our group calls, some of the programs that our extraordinary clients are creating. We want you to come and join us. There's no other program out there designed to help you build and sustainably scale your jewel business. So again, what's included first, this is about your 7-figure roadmap and work plan, right? Number 2, this is about your jewel infrastructure and curriculum, where we offer you robust, detailed, actionable curriculum on how to build your scalable offers, your lead generation system, your processes, and your lean dream team. This is about done for you documents and containers where we give you templates for everything that you have to create so that you at least have that structure to help you do it a lot more easily. You get to coach with me, and this PS is a super cool. This is the website of one of our clients. So we try to include those throughout our presentation here. You get to meet with me each week on group calls to get your questions answered, to have thought partnership. Plus, you're going to have one-on-one calls with me as you accomplish specific milestones in the program, okay? Community of practice. So we don't think about this as a traditional community. In a community of practice, you have like-minded people together who are working on the same thing. So these are women entrepreneurs who are focused on scaling their companies sustainably. We don't have all the answers. You have a lot of the answers. And so what we do is create a community of practice where you get to forge meaningful friendships with bold, like-minded women who support who you are becoming, give you behind the scenes details of what worked and didn't work for them. This is really powerful. You get consistent one-on-one coaching to stay on track and accountable with our coaches. And keep in mind, our coaches are certified executive coaches, but they have legitimate business experience scaling up businesses and organizations. They bring a tremendous amount of wealth and knowledge. These are my colleagues and my thought partners, okay? And that's who's going to be coaching you. So the way that it looks when we think about your 12-month period, first of all, we got to get traction, right? And so the first thing is like, let's get you to really a new level of consistent revenue growth that gives you time. Then we're going to start implementing the infrastructure. This is the red part that allows the foundation for you to scale up. And then we're going to focus on generating consistent growth and results. Okay. That's what happens over this 12-month period. In our time together, okay, so you look over the 12 months and you're really looking. So initially, we're going to focus on Jewel infrastructure project number 1 right here. Powerful. Then we stabilize the business. Your business is at a new level. We have to stabilize it, because if we don't stabilize it, you can backtrack, right? That's what happens in so many programs that we see. When you don't focus on stabilization, the entrepreneur backtracks. The company doesn't have the systems it needs or the internal infrastructure you as a founder don't have to maintain that. Then next trimester, we put in infrastructure project number 2. Your company takes another leap. Now we've got to stabilize again. And then finally, that final piece, okay? And many folks will decide, PS, to come and join us for a second year because this methodology works so effectively. So each strategy we teach, each program component is worth the entire investment or more, okay? So for instance, when we revamp your high-touch 5-figure offer, 2 to 3 sales of that from many of you will pay back your membership into the program. Elegantly raising your prices. This happens all the time. Simply raising the prices, that alone makes you back your money just with selling your offers consistently. Launching your 6-figure scalable offer or your premium 7-figure scalable offer, that just totally makes the investment worth it. Cutting back on your monthly expenses, right? Because we do a lot of work around money. Just our sales script. Each part of this is worth the investment on its own. But combined with the right recipe for you, which we help you do with personalized coaching, assessing your unique opportunity, this is worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your business. So a hugely valuable investment. This is Liz Kimball, who is a renowned creativity teacher based in New York. She says, Eleanor Beaton is the real deal. She's the only business coach I recommend. Just the value of your 7-figure roadmap, right? So this is a powerful program created by one of our clients. Just getting your 7-figure roadmap, getting one-on-one feedback on your copy, your page design, your offers. Each one of these pieces would cost you hundreds of dollars a week to hire your own experts. And we have all of that included inside our program. And I think the other thing to think about is how much is it costing you to not scale your Jewel business with us? And I think about the extraordinary Cheryl Thompson, whose organization is Cadia, which she founded while she was working with us. She said, with Eleanor's highly personalized support, my focus is now spot on. I was able to make a plan and execute on it. Since joining, I've made more progress in 2 months than I did in the last 4 years. That's what happens when you have this sound, value. So I want to share what our values are. We help our clients create consistently sustainable long-term growth strategies, not feast or famine promotions where you have one good launch followed by no months of sales. Okay? That's not for us. Value number 2, we value your open time, your profit, and your take-home pay over the vanity metrics of a big audience or social media likes. Value number 3, we prioritize your authenticity and self-efficacy, meaning your confidence in your ability to run your business. We're not here to have you follow our system. We're here to provide structure, clear pathways, and support for you to build your 7-figure dream business. Okay? These are Lori Rand and Judy Obersi. They increased their annual revenue by 40% and signed $1.5 million in signed contracts with strong systems in place to manage their business strategically and effectively. All right. So you're going to want to know what's the investment. So your investment for this program is 2,500 USD per month for 10 months. You can save a full $3,000 if you pay in full. So to get started on this, you are going to, you need to apply. And so the investment really is $2,500 per month for 10 months or $22,000 in a one-time payment. And that allows you to save $3,000. Okay. So the next step is to submit your application. So you'll see below this video, there's a place where you can submit your application. That application you'll go through, you will submit it, and then we will be able to take a look, and that initiates. We may have questions for you. We may want to check in on some things, but that's really where our process starts. We want to make sure that this is a win-win situation and this is a fit. So here we're providing a lot of the information you need. You may have questions, submit your application. It's the next part of the process. Okay. So you submit your application. We will review and respond in 2 to 3 business days. If approved, we'll send you through your registration docs and payment links. If you have questions, you can send us an email. Like at that point, you'll know, okay, I'm approved into the program. And for you, it might be like, yeah, let me just get started. Or you may say, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Or you may say, I'd love to just ask you a few questions. Okay. So that's how this process works. So remember, here's what you're getting. Everything you need to create a thriving 7-figure jewel business, templates, tools, and scripts for every step, weekly coaching with me, assignments and accountability, personalized feedback, and a community of practice. $2,500 a month for 10 months. Okay, a couple questions you might have. Is this program going to work with me? I've personally coached over 600 women entrepreneurs. I have worked with businesses at all different stages. And I think we've shown you how, depending on what stage your business is at, how you would use our programming. So I think the core is understanding, like just like we're saying, look, create a system that creates the structure for you to thrive. We've created a system that creates the structure for entrepreneurs to thrive. And we know that you're coming in with different levels of experience. If you apply and we go through your application, we're like, this human is amazing. This business has a ton of potential, but we think there's a few things that need to be in place, or we think there's a little bit of a mismatch here. We'll tell you, right? Just very straight up, we'll tell you, and we'll have a conversation about it. So I would really encourage you. You know how women, all that research about how women don't apply for a promotion unless they meet like 95% of the criteria, but guys apply for promotions if they meet 50% of the criteria. Apply. Don't let that be true here, right? Don't let that hold you back from thoroughly exploring how this opportunity could work for you. This is Steph Sedgwick. So she started this. She was running her business, but her business was kind of her second priority. She came into this business becomes her first priority. And one of the big things that she was able to do was start generating consistently $30,000 in high touch 5-figure sales per month, right? Her target was 3. She ended up getting 6. Okay. That's the power of a strong offer that pulls the market, right? So you're invited to join us, and you may have the question, wow, $2,500 per month for 10 months, $22,000. How can I justify that investment? And I think that's a fantastic question. And I want to share a story with you. I can remember years ago, my husband and I each had different types of businesses. And he had a landscape business where he designed and installed landscapes. And as the business was growing, he was like, man, I have to make some investments in this business to grow. And so the investment was a piece of equipment that cost $150,000. Now, look, a lot of equipment that these companies need, that's just the starting price, right? $150,000. And so we talked it over. We're like, yeah, 150 grand. And what was so interesting to me was how I saw that investment in his business as like a no-brainer. But at the time, I was still a little meek about investing in my own business. So I want you to think about that piece of equipment that enabled him to grow, this is what that looks like for you. This is what that looks like for you. And it's a fraction of the cost, but this, what you learn here and what you implement will make money for years to come, right? Just like it did for him. So that's, I think, a really important way to look at it. I could say you're worth it, you're worthy, but you know all those things, right? I think there's when you work with us, we're always really elevating that conversation and shifting your perspective and helping you look at things in different ways and helping you take this business seriously and give it the investment it needs to produce for you, right? So I think about Mo Carrick, who is in her second year of this program with us, who launched that 6-figure scalable offer and was able to generate $500,000 in sales from this offer in 18 months. Okay, so that is where clear ROI there. So you're invited to join us. One of the things that you might question too is, I don't know that I love all of this, but I keep getting hung up. I'm not sure that I want a 7-figure business. That intimidates me. It feels so far away. And I understand that. And I would share 2 things. Number 1 is the fact that you don't want a 7-figure business is 100% okay. But the infrastructure we help you create, remember, it's not just about revenue. It's about impact and open time and freedom. And so what we help you create here helps you accomplish and experience those things. Okay, so that's really key. And the second thing is, one of the challenges being an entrepreneur, a small business owner, is all you know and what you see is what you see. But when you step into our environment, you start to see women who are doing things differently. You might see, and it might open up your mind and imagination, and it might start to help you see things as closer and clearer and more doable than you originally thought. So all I ask is that you're open, that it could be a possibility, even if you can't see how you can do it, right? Just be open to that possibility. All right, so it's your time. Let's get started. Submit that application, $2,500 a month for 10 months or $22,000. One of the best investments that you can make in your company. There's no program like this, no community like this. And I warmly welcome the opportunity to receive your application, to review it, and to see if you're a good fit with a program and to really discuss those next steps. Thank you. So submit that application. We want to see it. And I can't wait. Once you submit that application, we'll be in touch. We'll review it carefully and be in touch within 2 to 3 business days to answer any questions and support you through next steps. All right. Thank you so much on behalf of me and the entire Safi Media team. And I will talk to you soon.